Friends, and welcome to Opal Migration Australia. If you're living in Australia as a temporary resident and planning to apply for permanent residency, there is something very important you need to know. A lot of people don't realize this. If you, your partner, or your child has a medical condition that requires ongoing medical treatment, it could lead to your permanent visa being refused. So now I have seen this happen far too often. People get excited about getting their permanent residency, and during the medical test, they start sharing everything with the doctor, even things that might not be relevant or serious. Now, let me be very clear, we are not saying you should hide anything, but it's really important to understand how this process works so you can make informed decisions. And that's why this topic is so complex. It's not something we can give one size fit all advice on in a YouTube video. All right. So let's take a simple hypothetical example to understand the situation better. A couple been living in Australia for a few years. Now they are eligible for their permanent residency. They apply for their permanent residency and they get the invitation for their medical test. They goes for their medical assessment. They have a 3-year-old son, all right? They have a son who's 3 years old who has some sort of speech delay, or you can say he hasn't started talking yet. Now, we all know, especially in multicultural families, that if you don't speak English at home, children might take a little bit longer to start speaking in any language. The reason being, you speak multiple languages at home. It could be Hindi, Punjabi, and then when they go to Kindi, they see English there, they get a little confused. So that's very common and often nothing to worry about. But in the medical interview, they start mentioning this information to the medical officer. Medical officer was about to send them home, and then the medical officer asked the question, is there anything you would like to share? And then they start talking about how they think their son has a speech delay, and then how they would access speech therapy or specialist medical treatment after they get the permanent visa approved. So what do you think would happen next? Let me know in the comments. All right. Speech delay usually requires a speech therapy or occupational therapies. Like, this is the standard treatment for someone, when your child is having a speech delay. But the treatment can be very expensive. And if the estimate cost of treatment goes over 86,000 Australian dollars for the duration of your visa, your permanent visa can be refused under the health criteria, or also known as public interest criteria 4005. I will leave the snippet of the legislation in the description for you to have a look. In many cases, the doctor don't even ask the question, and that's what happened in this hypothetical situation as well. Doctor didn't ask anything, but the information is volunteered by the applicants. Later in this hypothetical situation, what happened? Later the child starts speaking English just fine, and it turns out it wasn't a major issue after all. But by then, it may be too late. The visa may already be refused. But given that this is a hypothetical situation, if this was a real situation, what do you think happened? Make sure you let me know in the comments. So now also, in addition to this information, let's look at these examples on the screen. All right, these are the actual visa refusals due to the medical conditions. I'll leave a link in the description if you would like to read more. The purpose of this video is simple: to raise awareness so you can be better prepared for this sort of situations. Yes, there are options to fix these situations, but options are very limited and heavily depend on your individual case. So if you are in this situation, please don't take chances. Get a proper advice, proper legal advice. You're welcome to reach out to us. We are here to help. Make sure you seek help. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.